Yeah, but I think, you know what? You got a story, you got a reason. In my opinion, you're a disruptive, independent journalist. You're a reporter on the whole ULEZ madness, which we're going to get into from the off. I'm going to have to put a disclaimer out. We do not endorse or condone or promote any vandalism of any sort whatsoever. The stuff that you report on, I spectate that. But what I'm not going to do is shy away from it, and I'm not going to not ask questions about it. So what made you start reporting on these ULEZ? Well, a lot of people will consider them cameras. You consider them something else. So the first question is, what made you start reporting on people removing and damaging these ULEZ cameras? And what is a ULEZ camera?
ULEZ is the ultra low emission zone in London, and it all started. It come to basically to the end of my road. So they've got static units up all over town. Put them in. It all started on the 29th of August 2023, and they put all these static units all over town, all over the traffic lights, every junction, loads of little cul-de-sacs all boxed off, like, so you can't go anywhere without getting sort of caught by one of these things. Like, people coming out of the house straight away, that's it, £12.50. And yeah, then they started doing mobile vans. So one come to the end of my road, and I was just like, I saw it on Facebook, and I was just like, that's pot down the end of the road, we've got to go and do something about that. So I just went down my garage, and I just got a couple of bits of wood, screwed them together, and just wrote no ULEZ on it, and just went out there and just like held it up in front of the unit, in front of the ULEZ, which I thought at that time was just a camera. But yeah, with a bit of investigation later on, it's electronic. It's actually announced by MI5 the other week. On the 14th, they put out the whole traffic network in London is compromised by the Chinese. GB News actually posted that. That was the same day we were up City Hall serving Sadiq Khan legal papers to remove the ULEZ because of the dangers that it can pose to people.
What are those dangers?
It's a laser array, phased array electronic assault weaponry. So yeah, it can target you. So they're shining a laser in your face every time you drive past that. It's Cat 4 lasers. We've got the patents for it. I've actually got a leaflet with me today with the patent numbers, all the information on it. We've served them. We've told them what they've put up. Like, basically, if you're not aware of what you've done, here's what you've done. So now there's going to be accountability, personal accountability for Sadiq Khan. We went for Sadiq Khan, 4 people we've done, 2 of the health and safety ones, and also the C40 15-minute cities chairman as well. So 4 people we served at City Hall with notice to remove this dangerous equipment off the streets of London.
How do you know the equipment is actually dangerous?
It's been taken and taken apart.
So the bioweapons, should we call them that?
What, the ULEZ?
Yeah.
They're not, it's electronic assault equipment. So it's like they can basically, in the back of them things, so like your standard ANPR camera costs about £2,000. You can go onto Amazon right now and buy like the best one that the councils use, and it's £2,000. But the ULEZ is like priced, we've had 2 different conflicting prices. One from my solicitors, which said £6,250, in the court documents that I got, but then someone else got charged with damaging one, and they priced it at £8,795. It was. That was through MK Law Solicitors. That was a guy over in South London. So they've given different prices, but £8,000 a unit. What's the price? There's Cognitech Chinese motherboard in the back of that. 2 lenses, £1,000 each. Like it's just like way over spec for what they need it for. So like that in itself started ringing alarm bells for us. So then, like, we've got a weapons expert on, a man who's got patents. You know, Mark Steele. So he's got patents for electronic assault weaponry. He's designed it, made it, got the patents for it, and he is an expert in that field. So he's had this thing and looked at it, and that is what it is. Osram Cat 4 lasers, 24 of them array in the front. So it scans a cityscape. So have you seen, like, you know, when you see in the movies where, like, in China, for instance, where they come up and, like, you get the, like, little man's, like, credit score comes up above his head. That sort of thing. It's scanning the cityscape. These things can facial recognition you, retinal recognition, like down to just a patch of skin, identify you from your stamp. Yeah, they've got all sorts of capabilities, and people who have had the jibby jab also can get seen better by this because they've got content inside them that's more visible with these lasers, it can bounce back off them. So.
Yeah, I've heard that concept. So what the government are leading us to believe, me, like your average man, is that these ULEZ cameras are put in place to reduce emissions, to make the air clearer, safer on your lungs. And then you've got the people that are coming out saying, okay, well, what about people that have got asthma? This is great for them, and sort of trying to promote it in a way that it's actually great for the environment, whereas I see it, with my little knowledge that I've got, as a gross attack on the working class man and woman of the country. And also, it's like, at what point do you not need these ULEZ cameras? At what point does the air not become toxic?
It's a flawed system right from the outset. So it's okay to pollute if you pay, basically. So they don't care about whether you're polluting or not, as long as you pay the money. So if everyone was rich and we all had loads of dough, we can all pollute as much as we want. But they know people aren't. So they know that this is an attack, and they know that they're going to price people off the road doing that. And that's the idea for your C40 15-minute digital prison. That's what it's going to be. That's the end game here. It's an attack on motorists. If you look at all I saw a thing today, I was just sitting out in their front. They're talking about 10 mile an hour speed limits in cities now. That's just ridiculous. Your average cyclist goes faster than 10 miles an hour, right? And they're talking about clean air zones, right? So I live right on the border of the ULEZ. So, my house is here, and a mile down the road is out of the ULEZ zone, right? So what's to stop, right? Man down here with some big gas-guzzling tank, right, which spurts out dirty black diesel everywhere, turning his engine on, right, and leaving there running all day, right? He's not in the zone. He can do that if he wants. And then the wind comes, and I've just paid for clean air just over here a mile later, but now that wind is blowing from his direction over to me, and my clean air that I've just paid for is now being polluted by dirty air from outside the zone, from people who are not paying the same charge as me. So if they can't control the wind, how can they tell me that I've got paying for clean air?
Yeah, that was my thoughts exactly when I said that. I mean, you can see why people are going to be absolutely furious. I mean, imagine, well, you live a mile away from the boundary. So you think it's far more sinister than just a cash grab
definitely.
From the government? Do you think these cameras, or what do you want to refer to them as?
It's a mouthful saying phased array electronic assault weapon every single time. So I just call it a ULEZ unit. I try not to say the word camera because it functions as a camera, but every time you say that it's a camera, you're manifesting Sadiq Khan's reality there. It's not a camera. It's something far more sinister than that. So for your geofencing, for your C40 15-minute digital prison, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's a very good way of looking at it, which is why I wanted to ask you, what would you rather us call it? Because it's a bit like affirming a trans child.
You're pretending with them.
You're pretending with them, and I don't think many people agree with Sadiq Khan. And we'll move on to Sadiq Khan. But where did the term Blade Runner come from, and what actually is a Blade Runner? It
was a mainstream media thing before I even made social media accounts. So when the ULEZ first started, I think it was the 27th of September, so just about a month it had been running when I decided to go out and sort of do something. But there had been people on it, there had been people out stealing these things before the actual the zone even came into effect. So that was sort of pre-August 2023. And the mainstream media had said Blade Runners. And then we come to making the names for Matt Hardy Blade Runner. That come from my name's Matt, obviously, and then someone goes, "Oh, you sound like Tom Hardy out of the Craze." So then we got Hardy, and then Blade Runner, because I just called myself my old Xbox gamer tag. I just Evil the Mad Matt was my old gamer tag, and I just called. And the lad who was giving me advice on the social media side of things, he said, "You can't call it that. We've got to have something a bit friendlier that the public are going to want to go. No one's going to follow Evil the Mad Matt, so you can't." So then I had to wait a week after I made that account, and then changed it to Matt Hardy Blade Runner, and then that just stuck. But none of that was my idea. Apart from the Matt.
It's just sort of snowballed. Yeah. Well, it depends how you look at it, out of control, or it snowballed into control. So when did you actually start making videos, and how did you know? Because you take footage and you capture the moment where people are actually chopping down these cameras, didn't you?
I've caught it a couple of times, but yeah, generally I'm not there when it happens. I just go there afterwards, and a lot of the time you see the videos, it's already fallen over on the floor, and I'm just there basically filming the aftermath, if you will, and just giving a little report. And then quite often, like, yeah, when it gets cut down, they're there almost next day, like lifting it all up. So then, like, and they're coming with security guards because obviously people don't like these lads coming and putting these units on the streets. So the security there, and like that probably made it worse for them having the security there. Because then you got someone else to like, someone who's like there as a target. Basically, you got secure. What do you need security for, eh? What you doing? Like, and then yeah, it's just like it's easy to catch them. And then like because of the social media following, I just got to look in my message requests. Oh, Matt, they're here. Oh, Matt, they're there. Go and do this. So it's just a sort of just like check your message requests, and you'll find out where things happen.
So you've organically built your sources as an independent journalist.
Yeah, basically, I just monitor my social media accounts, and people like they'll tell you they want to see me go out there and do something like now, so they'll tell me if it's happening. Oh, Matt, guess what? They're there, and it's like 5 minutes from my house. No problem. I go down there. I know they're going to be there longer than 5 minutes, so yeah, let's go and have a little look. Let's go and film the crime. And
do you know the people that are cutting these cameras down?
I might.
And are they firm-handed or are they all independents?
I whacked one down myself. and I got nicked for it on the site, and I've pled not guilty for that. I got nicked for it on scene, right? And I took it down. I went out and Main Junction, Hillingdon Circus, and I cut it down, and I got nicked for that on the spot, right? And
well, they caught you in the act.
Basically, I got well unlucky, mate. As it fell over and hit the floor, a police car drove right past it. Like his window was open, he heard it fall over. I was like, how's your luck? Like,
and how high are these things?
It's just on a traffic light, so it's like just above 3 metres. So the traffic lights aren't. It's not a heavy unit. Like, do you know what I mean? There's not really much danger. Like, even if it dropped on you, you'd probably survive it. Do you know what I mean?
Probably.
But, yeah. There's always a chance of getting unlucky, isn't there? But yeah, I cut that down. I've pled not guilty because I've pled self-defence, because that's a property damaging piece of dangerous hardware that can cause me harm, cause my property harm, and can cause the environment harm. So I've admitted cutting it down. I said, yeah, I went in my court documents. I'm on trial for this in June 2026. Yeah, I've admitted it. I've said I cut that down, but I've pled not guilty because we can prove that it is a dangerous weapons system, and I did that in self-defence.
That's a real interesting way of looking at it. So, in what sense is it a weapon?
It can cause you harm. So basically, it's got capacitors in the back of it that can hold a charge. So if they use them capacitors to fire through the laser, they can kill you with 4 watts of power. It can hold 175 watts of power in the back of it. It's got cooling and everything in there.
Yeah, it
sounds mad.
It's an insane concept to think that you can act in self-defence against a ULEZ camera.
It's basically the same concept. So if I walk in here now and I point a weapon at you, right, and I tell you I'm going to hurt you with said weapon, guess what? You've got a right to defend yourself from that, and you can do what you like to me. Yeah, and you don't get in any trouble for that because it's self-defence. Now, if someone's got a turret and there's something on the top of that turret that can have you, right, and you go and do something about that's self-defence, because that turret could harm you. It's the same thing. The units on top of these traffic lights can harm me. I know they can, so I went out and locked one down in self-defence.
Have you had legal advice on where you stand with that?
Yeah. That's really all. I didn't admit this to anyone until we'd gone through the barristers, we'd done all the legal paperwork, and this is what we're going to say. Yeah. So we've put that into the court. This is my defence.
So you may get a judge that will be thinking, well, this is absurd. This is criminal damage, clear as day. And then you go, actually, here's my evidence, but you're going to need to open this camera and examine it so that you can prove that it's dangerous. Is that right?
We had a discussion the other week about taking one of these things and taking it to a police station and handing it in as a weapon and going, here, this is dangerous. Inspect it. Get something done about it. Because every single police officer that I've interacted with, I've reported to them about the bioweapon that they've all been jibbed with, and I've reported to them about the ULEZ weapons system. So every one of them's now in breach of their oath. They're not investigating a crime. I've reported it to them. I specifically report every single copper that I interact with. I've been nicked 8 times, so it's quite a lot.